How are you today, Archie?
Good.
Are you having a good Friday?
Yes.
All righty. Are we ready to see what Sludge is up to? Is that his name?
Hello.
Hi. Is that his name? Sludge? Tony Sludge, right?
Yeah.
He's the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Here comes his car. Oh, yep, there he is.
We finished this page.
Tony Sludge. Okay, I see the star. By the way, yesterday I said that I remembered some other words we had read that had the same meaning of scoffed. And we had snickered and sneered and snorted. Those all start with the blend of SN, snickered, snorted, sneered. Those are all ways of saying that someone said something in kind of a mean way, where they are also laughing at somebody in a way that's not very nice. They're kind of making fun of someone. They also mean scoffed. Now, we are with the pink gas, so we are right here. Now remember that Slick Fur had just come in with a gas mask on and a strange tank connected to a tube on his back. And within minutes, a cloud of pink gas began seeping from the tank. So we can see that here. Okay, we can see Slick Fur. Here's the gas mask. Here's the tank on his back. Here's the tube. And here comes the pink gas that is coming out of the tube. And remember, Geronimo's hero partner is called Swift Paws. And he says, "You can't scare us with your colored gas," my hero partner began to say. But before he could continue, he dissolved into a fit of giggles. Giggling is when you just can't stop laughing. It's not a big laugh like ha, 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 ha. It's more of a little laugh that just goes on and on and on, like and it just goes on and on and on. That's giggling. Okay? And Swift Paws starts giggling and he can't stop. So if you start giggling and you can't stop, there's an expression we use in English that goes like this: dissolved into a fit of giggles. That is not the literal meaning of the word dissolved. What dissolved really means is, have you ever made lemonade?
Yeah.
What do you have to put in the water to make lemonade?
Lemon.
Yes, but there's one more thing.
What?
You need to put some sugar in the water also.
Oh.
Yeah, lemonade is usually just a little bit sweet. So you can choose. If you like it really sweet, you put in a lot of sugar. And if you like it mostly sour, then you only put in a little bit of sugar. But let's say you have a glass of water and you put your lemons in there, but then you put your sugar in. If you stir it up with a spoon for a long time, will you still be able to see the sugar?
No.
No. What happens to the sugar? Do you know?
Melt.
It doesn't melt, it dissolves. That's this word right here. I'm going to put a box around it. Now, it's this word right here. So if you put sugar into water and you stir it, just a little bit of sugar, not too much, and you stir it and you stir it and you stir it, the sugar will dissolve into the water and then you won't see it. Okay? It's a little bit different from melting, but it's also a little similar, but it's different. So that's the real literal meaning of the word dissolve. When we say that someone dissolves into a fit of giggles, do we just disappear like the sugar disappears in the water?
No.
No. So it's not the literal meaning, it's a figurative meaning. Okay, so it's different than how it sounds. And so, but we say if someone dissolves into a fit of giggles, they just start laughing and they can't stop. We say something has tickled their funny bone. And your funny bone, we say it's kind of your elbow. And when we say that something tickled your funny bone, it means that you just found something to be silly or funny and you just start giggling and you can't stop. Have you ever started laughing and you just can't stop?
No.
No, that happens to me sometimes. I just find, huh?
I see someone last 1 year. Last 1 year.
I've never seen anyone laugh for 1 year.
Yes, I see.
That's 365 days.
Yes.
Wow. Have you ever seen the movie Mary Poppins?
No.
Let me show you what it looks like. Ready?
Yes.
Mary Poppins. So this is a famous movie. Have you ever seen this person before?
No.
She comes down from the sky holding an umbrella and she lands at someone's house and she says, "I'm here to take care of your kids." She says her name is Mary Poppins, okay? And she has this uncle. Let me see. These are the kids here that she comes to take care of. They look a little bit dirty in this picture. That's because they're cleaning chimneys. Let's see here. Let me find her uncle, Uncle Albert, who loves to laugh. All right, so what happens here, where is the table in this picture?
On the air.
It's up in the air. So you can see Mary Poppins is standing down on the ground. And up in the air, you can see there's a girl in a blue dress and a boy. And then there's this man in a brown suit. Actually, there's two men. And what happens, whoopsie daisy doozy doozy, how'd that happen? What happens is there's a little bit of magic in this movie. And that man in the brown suit, this person right here in the brown suit, he likes to laugh. And when he starts laughing, he rises up off the ground to the top of the room. And he gets the kids laughing. And pretty soon they're all laughing and they're up in the top of the room just doing somersaults in the air and flipping around and just can't stop giggling. And so Mary Poppins says, "Oh my goodness, well, it's time for tea." And so she can do a little bit of magic and she makes the whole table go up to the top of the room and has the tea set on the table so that they can have their tea because it's time for tea. But they can't come back down to the ground until they think of something sad and stop laughing. The problem is every time they think of something sad, all of a sudden they think of something funny and then they start laughing again. So they have a really hard time coming up with a sad idea that lets them stop laughing and come back down to the bottom of the room. So those are people in that scene, in that movie, that dissolved into a fit of giggles. So here, Swift Paws has dissolved into a fit of giggles, and he just can't stop laughing. So then Geronimo, or someone says to him, I'm not sure, we don't know who says this to him. It could be Lady Wonder Whiskers, and it could be Geronimo. We'll have to see.
It's I. It's I. It's
Oh.
Geronimo.
Oh, good detective work. Good detective work. Great job. So Geronimo says to him, Swift paws, get a hold of yourself. So this is an expression that we say in English. When we say to someone, get a hold of yourself, that doesn't mean hold on and hold yourself. It means it means, you know what, you need to stop laughing and start being serious and you know, stop being so silly. So I began to say that, but then I started cracking up too. Well, cracking up, that's also figurative. When we say that someone cracks up, it doesn't mean that just like we can take an ice cube and crack the ice cube into two pieces or lots of pieces, you know, kind of split something into two. If we start cracking up, it means we start laughing and giggling and we can't stop. So now, here's Geronimo, ha, 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 ha. And Swift pauses, hee, 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 hee. And Geronimo's, ha, 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 ha. Oh my goodness. And then Slickfur says, check it out, silly super pests. Okay, a pest is someone who drives you crazy. Usually we think of a pest as not a person, but a pest might be, we have an ant problem in the house, or we have cockroaches in the house, or, you know, these little pests are driving us crazy. We don't want ants, we don't want cockroaches. We don't usually call a person a pest, although a kid might call his little brother, you know, don't be such a pest. You're pestering me. You know, stop annoying me. Leave me alone. But if they say that, they're not being very nice. But Slickfur is not going to be very nice because he's one of the bad guys in the story. So he says, check it out, silly super pests, Slickfur announced. It's my latest, greatest invention. Side splitting, pink, paralyzing, giggle gas. Hee hee hee, ha ha ha, ho ho ho. Even lovely Lady Wonder Whiskers laughed. Oh no, she had been struck by the giggle gas as well. Side splitting right here. Side splitting means not that your side of your body splits open, but when we say side splitting, it means we are laughing so hard that you know, the side of our body hurts. You know, we just are laughing so hard we can't stop. Paralyzing means that we can't move. We can't move, we can't do anything. We can't do anything that we want to do. We're just like frozen. So this gas, this pink gas, is making them laugh so hard that they can't do anything. They're stuck. This is kind of a problem. My hero partners and I couldn't stop rolling on the ground. Okay, look at them. Look at these guys. She can't stop laughing even when looks like they tie up her hands behind her back. And here's Swift Paws. He can't stop laughing even as Tony Slow, is that, I think that's 1, 2, or 3, right? Is that 1, 2, or 3? Even as they tie up him. And here, there's 2 and 3, and they're tying up Geronimo, and he thinks it's hilarious. He's like, ho, ho, ho. This is not good. This is not good at all. These superheroes are in big trouble. The incredible giggle gas was giving us full-blown laugh attacks. We were just couldn't stop laughing. 1, 2, and 3 caught us without difficulty. That means it was super easy for them. Tied us together and hung us from the ceiling like 3 cheese sausages. 3 super cheese sausages. You know what a sausage is?
Yes.
Like a hot dog. Then they grabbed the invisibility machine and secured it to the roof of the sludge mobile. So they tied it on to the sludge mobile, their car, so it wouldn't fall off. Goodbye, super pests, Tony called as he climbed into the sludge-mobile and disappeared down the sewer. Do you know what a sewer is, Archie?
It's like something. Sewer is like the. It's like something. The dirty water can go across that.
Yeah.
Right.
So your sink in your house and your toilet in your house and your shower in your house, all that dirty water has to go down a drain, and that drain has to go someplace. We don't want it to just go outside. It goes down into this underground tunnel where all the dirty water will get washed down that tunnel to go to a place called a water treatment plant, where the dirty water from the sewer, so the tunnel is called the sewer, and it'll go to a place where they will clean the water. Actually, there will be some workers that are going to clean the water. So, and we often think that a sewer is a really disgusting place to be, that often we think of it as a place where we have rats. That's why I think these bad guys are called the sewer rats. And they actually came into the house right here. When they came into this where's the laboratory? When they came into the laboratory, they came through the sewer. Now the sewer just comes up to a wall. There's not a door from the sewer into the laboratory. That's why they needed this drill on the front of their sludge-mobile to push their way through the wall into the laboratory. Okay, and then all they did is they had this new invention that sprayed giggle gas or laughing gas into the air, and as soon as they breathed it in, they started giggling and they were laughing so hard they just couldn't even do anything. It was very easy for 1, 2, and 3 to tie them up, take the invisibility machine, put it onto the roof of the car, and escape. And the superheroes couldn't do anything about it. But what is something that the bad guys didn't realize?
The invisible thief.
That's right? They didn't realize that he was there because they couldn't see him. All right, so this next chapter is called Don't Move, Super Stilton. And look, I can already look at the picture and see who is coming to their rescue.
The invisible thief.
That's right. Okay, so well, the effects of the giggle gas eventually wore off. That means they didn't keep laughing forever and ever and ever. Eventually that pink gas kind of disappeared and they started to breathe fresh air and they stopped laughing and giggling, but we were still tied up. And so they said, moldy mozzarella muffins, right? There's some alliteration, right? Did you see that? And the cheese word there is mozzarella. That's the kind of cheese that we often put on pizza. Swift Paws said that. We must free ourselves. But how? That's what Geronimo said. I cried, I can't move. Then a ladder moved underneath us. A pair of scissors floated into the air. Don't move, Super Stilton. It was the invisible thief. I watched the sharp, pointy scissors coming toward me and cringed. I'm too fond of my fur. He was cringing is when we're like, oh no, don't do it. And you think something bad is going to happen. He was worried that the invisible thief with those sharp, pointy scissors would accidentally snip, 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 cut his hair, his fur.
His hair.
A second later, clunk, 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 clunk. I found myself lying on the ground. In the meantime, that means at the same time, Mouse also freed my super colleagues. Now, remember when there's this really long word that has super in front of it, we can cover that up and then we can see this word. And this is still a hard word. Oops, let me get my blue. Okay. Colleagues would be the people that work with you, that are on your team. So at where I work, at my school, the other teachers are my colleagues because I work with them. Okay, we work together. So colleagues are the people that you work with. So Geronimo's colleagues are Swift Paws and Lady Wonder Whiskers. So then I see right here, I've got the quotation marks. And so
It's Lady Wonder Whiskers.
That's right. I that's just what I was going to do. Thank you. So she says, but where did you go, Mouse? Lady Wonder Whiskers asked him. And he says, I was here the whole time, the professor explained. I just didn't make a sound. Being invisible has more than a few advantages. So the other day, we heard some of the reasons why he doesn't like being invisible, because he can't have any friends. No one wants to play ball with him or go to the movies with him or have fun with him or do anything with him because they can't even see him. Those are not advantages of being invisible. Those are disadvantages. That prefix dis means not. Disadvantages are down here. If we took this word and if we put dis in the front of it, we would turn it into not being an advantage. The disadvantages of being invisible is that no one can see you to have fun with you or to be your friend. But the advantages, this would be the good things that could happen, is that if there's a bad guy in the room, he's not going to know you're there. So if you're super quiet and he can't hear you and he can't see you, then he's not going to get you.
They can touch you.
Yes, they could. If he's standing in the wrong place and someone bumps into him or walks into him, then yes. But if you're hiding, like maybe behind the door or someplace where the bad guys are not going to run into you, then maybe you would be safe, right? But you're right, you have to be careful where you're standing. Okay, next page, ready?
Yeah.
Yes, if you were invisible, you could do all kinds of things, super good things and super bad things. How did the sewer rats know about the invisibility machine? I asked Mouse. Mouse let out a deep, long sigh. It's time to tell you everything from the beginning, he confessed. This word confess is when you tell someone else the things that you did that maybe you wish you didn't do. They're usually things you don't want someone else to know because maybe you wish you didn't do them. But the longer you keep it a secret, the more you might feel bad about it. And so you know that what you really need to do is just tell someone what you did. And that is called confessing. So then he goes on and he says, after years of failed attempts, that means he was trying and failing, trying and failing, trying and failing for many years. Last week, I finally got my invention to work, the professor explained. Okay, remember his invention is to figure out a machine that will let something become invisible. And he has been working on this for years, and he finally got it to work last week. I was thrilled, okay, very excited. But then I found out the sewer rats had been spying on me. Someone who is spying, someone who is a spy is very sneaky. They're going to hide so that you can't see them, and they're going to be very quietly watching what someone else is doing. They're looking for something. They're looking to see what someone else is doing. They're looking for information. They're looking for secrets, and they don't want anyone to know they're looking. So they're very quiet and very sneaky. So they had been very quietly keeping an eye on this professor. And Tony and Slickfur showed up at my house. They wanted to steal my invention. Because bad guys, remember, you can use this.
Mama,
Remember, you could use the invisibility machine to do super bad things too. And that is what Tony Sludge and Slickfur wanted to do. He knew that. So to escape, he did not want his invention used to do bad things. So to escape from the sewer rats, I was forced to use the ray of invisibility on myself. So he used his own machine to make himself go invisible so that the sewer rats couldn't find him and force him to give it to them. Unfortunately, the sewer rats tried to block the machine, and one of the lenses broke into smithereens. Smithereens is kind of a made-up word, and it means lots and lots of pieces, tiny little pieces. Okay, so if you have a glass and you accidentally drop it on the floor, it's going to shatter into many little pieces of glass. We would say it broke into smithereens. And he needs the lens to get the machine to work. So if the lens is broken, he can't use the machine to turn back into someone you can see, back into someone who is visible. Now I understand, I said. The sewer rats escaped. They couldn't catch me, and the machine was out of service. That means it wasn't working. So that's how you became the invisible thief, exclaimed Lady Wonder Whiskers. Yes, Griff Mouse continued sadly. I tried everything I could think of to replace the broken lens and repair means to fix, his machine. So this picture is showing what happened last week when he finally got the invisibility machine to work. But then who shows up? Tony Sludge and Slickfur saying, "Give us the machine." He's like, "No, I won't do it." They're like, "Grrr." And so he used the machine on himself. But in that process, they broke one of the lenses. So he says here at the bottom, he tried everything he could think of to replace the broken lens and to repair my invention. I know it was wrong to steal the diamonds, but I didn't know what else to do. I have to admit, I felt bad for Griff Mouse. Being invisible might sound fun at first, but I wouldn't want to be invisible forever either. I'm too fond of my fur. Okay, that means I want to, oops. I think in English we say, I'm too fond of my skin. I'm not quite sure what the expression is in English. It's okay, I told the professor, but when I tried to pat his shoulder reassuringly, that means to say, don't worry, I'm encouraging you, I accidentally smacked him on his snout. Sorry about that, I apologized, which means I'm sorry, but don't worry, we'll help you. And so, with Swift Paws and Lady Wonder Whiskers by my side, we shouted, "Heromice to the rescue!" All right, we're gonna, the next chapter is called Beep, 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 Beep. That's what it looks like to me. And it looks like there's now another, I think this green stuff, it kind of reminds me at the beginning with his super pen that went around him so that he could start flying. But I think this one is going to, because he's holding his nose, so I think this is showing us something in the air that smells really bad and disgusting. That
It's like Tony juices.
yeah, Tony sludge, because the sewer rats, if they're from the sewer, they're going to be very stinky. Because you can imagine all that dirty water that comes from the toilet and the sink. It's going to be pretty stinky down there. I would not want to smell it, actually. Okay, but before we go to that chapter, we're going to start that chapter tomorrow. But what we're going to do first is two things. First, I'm just going to check the vocabulary. And second, do you remember yesterday when you were wearing that shirt that had the houses on it?
Yeah.
And I said it reminded me of that artist in Taiwan that just won an award for illustrating a children's book.
Yeah.
I found it, so I'm going to show it to you before we sign off. But first, let's take a quick look at our vocabulary. Okay, let me get my blue ready. So we talked about dissolving into a fit of giggles and cracking up, side splitting, paralyzing. Paralyzing is a really hard word. It's this one right here. It means you can't move. You can't move at all. Side splitting means you can't stop laughing. You're just laughing so much it almost hurts. And when we say rolling on the ground or rolling on the floor, we're talking about someone who can't stop laughing. They're just rolling on the floor, rolling on the ground. I think there's even this I think sometimes when people are doing chat or chat messages with each other, I think there is a, I think there's one that looks like this. And I never thought about it before, but I think that might stand for rolling on the floor, laughing. The other one that you might have seen sometimes is this one, LOL. And that one means laughing out loud. But I think this one might be rolling on the floor, laughing. So sometimes we say someone is just laughing so much, they're rolling on the floor, laughing. And so they have here, rolling on the ground. Incredible, I don't know if you know this word. Incredible is a great word. It means great. It's a great word that means great. Incredible means like, wow. It means kind of like, that is amazing. That's big. That's great. That's wow. That's fantastic. It's very impressive. Let's see. Difficulty. This word here. Difficulty means it's just really hard. So if something is without difficulty, that means it's easy. Okay, it's saying there's no problem. It's not hard at all. And sausages are like hot dogs. When we say something got secured to the roof of the car, that means we have you ever seen someone that's driving around with their bicycle on top of their car?
Yeah.
Well, how do they keep their bike from falling off?
They have a thing.
Well, that thing allows them to secure the bike to the top of the car. It's called a bike rack. You could also use it to put a canoe on top of the car. And then you secure the canoe to the top of the car so it won't fall off. All righty, let's see. Disappeared. We've done disappeared before. And disappear does not mean it's just poof, it doesn't exist anymore like magic. It means that they just left really quickly, and so now we can't see them anymore. Let's see. Eventually means it takes some time, but it will happen. It's not forever. So they were laughing and laughing and laughing, but not forever. It took some time, but eventually they stopped laughing. Let's see. Cringed. We talked about this word cringed. Ah! Cringed is when we're like, oh, no, don't let it happen. No. We don't want something to happen, so we cringe. Let's see. Advantages. We talked about advantages and disadvantages. Advantages are the good things that can happen because of something. So if we are invisible, there's some good things that can happen, but there's also some bad things that can happen. So there's advantages and disadvantages. Every time we make a decision, we say we want to weigh the pros and the cons, the pluses and the minuses, the good things and the bad things, the advantages and the disadvantages. For example, when your mom and dad were choosing a school for you, they would say, okay, well, let's see, do we want Archie to go to this school? What would be the advantages of that decision? What would be the disadvantages of that decision? And they see which one is more, and that helps them make a decision. And let's see if we see any more. We had here failed attempts. That's when you keep trying to do something and it doesn't work, but we don't give up, right? Whenever we have a goal, we keep trying. Even if we fail, we just change it, tweak it, and keep trying again. Okay. I think that is.
You say you found what?
Yeah, I'm going to show you about that book in just a second. When we admit something, we say that it's true. We kind of, if we've been keeping something a secret, we finally say, yes, I'll tell you. And then we admit it. Where's that word confessing? Is that on this page? Well, I will go back and check it later. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And then I'm going to stop my share, but don't say so long yet, because I'm going to pull up the house thing I wanted to show you, okay? All right, let's see. Okay. All right, now I found it. And now I need to share it with you one more time. Okay. Now, yesterday I told you this was a boy, but actually when I looked at it today, or last night, I realized it's a girl. So I was wrong about that. Okay, so it's this person right here is the artist. And this right here is the front cover of the book. Okay, so she drew those pictures, and the title of the children's book is Home, and you can see how she drew all sorts of different houses, right? Isn't that kind of interesting how she drew those houses?
Yes.
And she got first place in the whole world. And it shows some more pictures like this one. That's a picture from inside the book. I just think her artwork is very interesting. There's another picture from the book. And here she is. It looks like she's showing her book to maybe to some kids. That must be her getting her award. So anyway, I just wanted to show you, these are a couple, she's an artist from Taiwan, and she drew pictures for this book. And those were some of the pages from the book. And she got first place in the whole world. And the name of the book is called Home. And your shirt yesterday reminded me of that. All right, now we can say it. So long.
So long, Cheddar Chip.
All right, bye, Archie.